Hi, my name is Boston, and today I want to cover the topic of phenomenology. Phenomenology is the study of structures of consciousness as experienced from the first person point of view. The central structure of an experience is its intentionality. It's being directed towards something, as it is an experience about some object. An experience is directed toward an object by virtue of its content or meaning, together with appropriate enabling conditions. Phenomenology as a discipline is distinct from but related to other key disciplines in philosophy such as ontology, epistemology, logic, and ethics. Phenomenology has been practiced in various guises for a century, but it came into its own in the early 20th century in the works of Husserl, Heidegger, Sartre, Merleau-Ponty, and others. Phenomenological issues of intentionality, consciousness, qualia, and first-person perspective have been prominent in recent philosophy of mind. So what is phenomenology? Phenomenology is commonly understood in either of two ways, as a disciplinary field in philosophy or as a movement in the history of philosophy. The discipline of phenomenology may be defined initially as the study of structures of experience or consciousness. Literary phenomenology is the study of phenomena, appearances of things, or things as they appear in our experience, or the ways we experience things, thus the meanings things have in our experience. Phenomenology studies conscious experience as experienced from the subjective or first-person point of view. The historical movement of phenomenology is the philosophical tradition launched in the first half of the 20th century by Edmund Husserl, Martin Heidegger, Maurice Merleau-Ponty, Jean-Paul Sartre et al. In that movement, the discipline of phenomenology was prized as the proper foundation of all philosophy, as opposed, say, to ethics or metaphysics or epistemology. The methods and characterization of the discipline were widely debated by Husserl and his successors, and these debates continue to the present day. In recent philosophy of mind, the term phenomenology is often restricted to the characterization of sensory qualities of seeing, hearing, etc., what it is like to have sensations of various kinds. However, our experience is normally much richer in content than mere sensation. Accordingly, in the phenomenological tradition, phenomenology is given a much wider range, addressing the meaning things have in our experience, notably the significance of objects, events, tools, the flow of time, the self, and others, as these things arise and are experienced in our life world. Phenomenology as a discipline has been central to the tradition of continental European philosophy throughout the 20th century, while philosophy of mind has evolved in the Austro-Anglo-American tradition of analytic philosophy that developed throughout the 20th century. Yet the fundamental character of our mental activity is pursued in overlapping ways within these two traditions. Accordingly, the perspective on phenomenology drawn in this article will accommodate both traditions. The main concern here will be to characterize the discipline of phenomenology in a contemporary purview, while also highlighting the historical tradition that brought the discipline into its own. Basically, phenomenology studies the structure of various types of experience ranging from perception, thought, memory, imagination, emotion, desire, and volition to bodily awareness, embodied action, and social activity, including linguistic activity. The structure of these forms of experience typically involves what Husserl called intentionality, that is, the directedness of experience toward things in the world, the property of consciousness, that is, a consciousness of or about something. According to classical Husserlian phenomenology, our experience is directed toward things only through particular concepts, thoughts, ideas, images, etc. These make up the meaning or content of a given experience and are distinct from the things they present or mean. Furthermore, in a different dimension we find various grounds or enabling conditions of the possibility of intentionality, including embodiment, bodily skills, cultural context, language, and other social practices, social background, and contextual aspects of intentional activities. Thus, phenomenology leads from conscious experience into conditions that help to give experience its intentionality. Traditional phenomenology has focused on subjective, practical, and social conditions of experience. To begin an elementary exercise in phenomenology, consider some typical experiences one might have in everyday life, characterized in the first person. First, I see that fishing boat of the coast as dusk descends over the Pacific. And the second, I hear that helicopter whirring overhead as it approaches the hospital. Here are rudimentary characterizations of some familiar types of experience. Each sentence is a simple form of phenomenological description, articulating in everyday English the structure of the type of experience so described. The subject term I indicates the first-person structure of the experience. The intentionality proceeds from the subject. The verb indicates the type of intentional activity described: perception, thought, imagination, etc. Of central importance is the way that objects of awareness are presented or intended in our experiences, especially the way we see or conceive or think about objects. The direct object expression articulates the mode of presentation of the object in the experience, the content or meaning of the experience, the core of what Husserl called noema. In effect, the object phase expresses the noema of the act described, that is, to the extent that language has appropriate expressive power. The overall form of the given sentence articulates the basic form of intentionality in the experience: subject, act, content, and object. In such interpretive, descriptive analysis of experience, we immediately observe that we are analyzing familiar forms of consciousness, conscious experience of or about this or that. Intentionality is thus the salient structure of our experience, and much of phenomenology proceeds as the study of different aspects of intentionality. Thus we explore structures of the stream of consciousness, the enduring self, the embodied self, the bodily action. Furthermore, as we reflect on how these phenomena work, we turn to the analysis of relevant conditions that enable our experience to occur as they do, and to represent or intend as they do. Phenomenology that leads into analysis of conditions of the possibility of intentionality, conditions involving motor skills and habits, background social practices, and often language, with its special place in human affairs. Thank you very much for your attention. Subscribe and see you later.